In a Violent Nature is a new 2024 slasher movie written and directed by Chris Nash. We follow the main character and killer around whose name is Johnny, and that's all you really need to know. No one else in this movie matters. I just saw it in the theater recently and I just wanted to give some thoughts about it. And I will be going through some spoilers. I did really appreciate what they were trying to do. It's a different take on the slasher movies we all know and love. We are literally walking alongside the killer and going through his day and night. And this is not to be sympathetic to him. In fact, we know nothing about him, other than I think he wants a trinket back. There was no music, no jump scares. The movie looked pretty good. The beauty of the woods and nature was shot great, and seeing all that beauty be interrupted by savagery, it's a nice touch. And it was still very nice to look at, actually. The acting was okay. It wasn't that great. There wasn't much dialogue, but the dialogue that was there sounded like very theater to me. I don't know how else to describe it as, but very performative. Because you have the killer's perspective, you only hear snippets of people's conversations some of the time, so it's very incomplete and expositional. Johnny Boy walks up to some rangers as they are talking about what happened back then, and someone says, "I remember," but we don't. Like, what happened? What are we talking about? So I cheated a little bit here. I try not to look at other reviews or just videos in general about the movies I am reviewing after first watch, just to see if I can remember as much as I could and get anything out of what I initially thought without any other influence. So upon editing, I'm very aware now that I missed a little bit of backstory for Johnny Boy. So that's on me, but regardless, everything I felt about this movie still stands. At times I was a bit bored, not gonna lie. So you're gonna see in this video some clips from the trailer of him walking through the forest. Just imagine that maybe 85% of the movie. But we are shadowing the killer after all. We follow him throughout the movie as he bumps into his victims. We don't know much about the victims. We briefly see them around the campfire talking. I don't really remember what was said. I just know that they were a bit annoying. But they really aren't the main characters. I didn't even know they had names. We only know as much as Johnny knows about them. So I didn't know of this movie's existence until I saw a little advertisement on Instagram for it. And the marketing for it got me, it worked. Underneath it, it claimed something about like people being nauseous and it's so gnarly. Or you could see these ads here on IMDb for the posters. Macabre work of gory art. Gnarly kills and rampant gore. Grossest, most elaborate kill scenes. I have to say it was a bit hyperbolic. Having all these statements here, it's very bold of them. I mean, with what's out there now for horror, it doesn't even come close to being very gory and sickening, in my opinion. Like, the kills were fine. A guy gets his head bashed in many times. Another gets his head cut in half, which is nothing new. We've seen that type of kill in Wrong Turn. And I guess the most memorable ones are the girl getting her head pulled through her torso, which was a good one, I'll admit it. It got some chuckles out of the audience I was with, myself included. Then I actually almost forgot this one. A very slow kill of a guy getting, I think, his head crushed or cut off. The scene was so drawn out and slow, I didn't really register what was happening. I think during that scene I was just like, is he gonna die yet or what? How long is this gonna take? And I'm not trying to say they lied about this movie with their ads and marketing, but like to hear people saying it was unbelievable and mind-boggling and brutal, it left me disappointed. I was really looking for some crazy, disgusting, gory kills, and it was very underwhelming, honestly. I was just expecting more. Like, I felt like I was left wanting more, you know? Like I said, it was beautifully shot, it looked great. I really appreciated the film and its different perspective for slasher movies. Like, when it finished, I was just like, oh, it's over. Okay. And I get that it was purposeful, that there wasn't really much of a backstory or a lot of characters to care about and things like that, but I guess it's what you get if you're just following a killer strolling through the woods. So I wouldn't say it was a bad movie per se. It did something different. It was obviously very Friday the 13th-esque. I would definitely watch another one with this Johnny killer and hope that it has a little more meat to it. But overall, I think I liked it more than I didn't like it. So I'm willing to watch another one of these. I'm curious to see what the directors come up with next. But hopefully it's not this disappointing. If you like horror movies, if you like slasher movies, I would suggest watching it just to get a different take on it. To see a slasher film do something different, I would recommend it, but I wouldn't expect too much from it. It's very experimental. It was okay. It was fine. That doesn't sound like a big endorsement, but I would just say if you're gonna watch it, just don't expect much out of it, just kind of take it in and see how you feel about this new aspect. There are definitely other horror movies that are more killer focused and you're mainly following them, but this is literally following the killer the whole movie except for maybe the last 10 minutes. That's really all I have to say about the movie at this time. Just my initial thoughts from my first watch of this movie. I may watch it again just to see if I missed anything. I really don't think I did, but if I get anything else out of it, especially being in a theater, sometimes that can be distracting. So maybe sometime later this year, I may check it out again. So if any of you guys watched this movie, what did you think about it? Let me know in the comments below, and thank you for watching.